Welcome to OrgSync training. In this webinar, we'll spend some time reviewing the tools and features of OrgSync you need to know as a student leader. We'll review the community homepage, how to set up your user profile, how to manage your organization portal, and a few other processes you will need to know as a leader of your organization. Following this video, we'll jump right into event management and what you need to know in order to plan events. Let's get started. Once you log on to OrgSync with your BU username and password, you'll arrive at the community homepage, which is where we are now. What we see right away is the news feature, some helpful bookmarks, upcoming events, easy links to the calendar of events, and all the active clubs and organizations on campus. What's really neat about the community homepage is that it's tailored to your involvement. You'll see posts from organizations you're involved in appear here, as well as events you are attending, and news posts from the Student Activities Office. News posts from the Student Activities Office happen all the time. We send out monthly newsletters this way, post updates to campus policies, and collect information. It's really important that you take the time to read through these news items critically and carefully. Before we move on, let me show you a couple of quick tips for searching and finding things in OrgSync. The search bar is helpful when you're looking for campus events, your club or organization, or just using keywords to find something. Another quick tip for finding your organization's portal is by using the My Membership tab. It pops down with each organization you're a member of and includes a quick link. Now let's review your user profile. By clicking on your user profile, you see a user drawer pops out. These are also quick links to your activity, events you're involved with, and your user settings. Let's review these first. The most important setting you need to know as a student leader is to enable OrgSync messages to forward to your BU email. The Student Activities Office uses a number of different communication methods and notifications in OrgSync, and in some cases, the only way to receive those messages are through your email notifications. You will learn more about this in the event management portion of this training. For now, be sure to enable this setting as well as have all of your members enable this setting as well. If you scroll below, you'll see setting options for the different features in OrgSync. In order to receive information most efficiently, you should set all of these features to active. Let's go to your profile. You can at any time update your personal information in OrgSync. We require you include your BU email and a phone number that we can reach you at. The good news about this feature is that later when you complete events, forms, and treasury requests, your information will automatically pre-populate the form and you won't have to do it manually. Moving over to your inbox, this is where you can send and receive OrgSync messages, check notifications based on your activity, and see your event invitations. The activity feature is a great way to see what you've submitted in OrgSync and when. You can see all the forms I've submitted here and the status of those forms. If you're not sure if you actually submitted something such as an event request, this is the first place you should look. If it says incomplete, that means you have not completed and submitted this request. Lastly, let's look at to-dos. You can create a list for yourself for projects and things you need to work on, and you can see what other organization leaders have assigned for you to complete. We'll spend more time reviewing this feature in our next section. That's it for the profile section. Don't worry about involvement or the ePortfolio. Let's move on to your portal homepage. So now we've landed on the Test Club portal homepage. We'll walk through all of these features shortly, but let's start with what we see on the main homepage. You can see in the profile section, we have a welcome message for new visitors to Club page. This information below populates directly from your organization registration page. I'll show you how to update this in a moment. The feed section of your profile shows recent activity in the organization. You can see we have recent and past events, and you might see news posts from other members of this organization. In the profile settings, you can determine which feature you want to set as the default of the organization homepage. You can also see here on the homepage some frequent files the organization uses as well as the current leadership of this club. Let me show you how to adjust the settings and features of your organization portal. Only administrators of the portal will have access to update this information. As an eBoard member, you should automatically have these permissions when you submit your position request and it's been approved. You can update things like your cover photo, include social media links to your group's Facebook page or Twitter handle, and you can even adjust the join options to manage how people join your group's portal. If you want to edit or create a welcome message, you can do that here. In order for that information to appear automatically, click Show Welcome Message by default. If you want to edit your organization's description, you'll need to update and renew your profile under Manage Profile. All of the information you include on the portal homepage automatically generates to the Student Activities website, which is a great tool for new and prospective students to find and learn more about your organization. Let's talk a little bit about the people feature of your portal. This is probably the single most important area of your organization's OrgSync portal. We require that each organization keep an updated list of all members active in the club. The People tool allows you to manage your organization's roster. You can even assign people into groups based on their responsibilities. Click on a user's name to view more information about that member. One of the most important functions is the ability to establish groups within your portal. Adding users to groups allows you to customize their permission settings and effectively target responsibilities. Select All People in the top left of the People tool. This provides a drop-down that contains the existing groups in your portal. You can also create a group within your organization. The term group is OrgSync lingo. You can certainly use this feature to organize committees or initiatives sponsored by your organization. Any member that will be planning events will need special permissions in order to access your organization's financial information as well as create events in OrgSync. Let's jump right into giving group members permissions. This tab can be found under a user's name and title. Click that checkbox next to a tool to give the user administrative access over that tool. If the checkbox is grayed out, it means the user already has administrative access for that tool based on the groups they belong to. You can give a member limited access based on their role within your organization, or can set up group permissions based on a committee or initiative they're involved in. Setting up group permissions is easy. You should set permission for your events team as a group, seeing they will all need access to submit information in OrgSync. You can manage group permissions two ways. First, click on a member's permissions, and below you see Manage Group Permissions. Or you can go to the organization settings and permissions. If you'd like to give certain groups additional permissions, click Grant Additional Permissions to specific groups. This will display the groups in your portal with a permission drop-down next to each. You might want to do this for your budget feature as well. Permissions are critical to the success of your organization if you plan to host programs and events. The right people need to be given access to your events tool and your treasury tool. Choose these folks wisely, as they will have permission to request to access your group's financial information. Let's move on to some other tools and features of your OrgSync portal. We'll learn more about the events section in our next session. The Files tool is where you can find a number of resources from the Student Activities Office, as well as the Allocations Board. You can see anything with an umbrella means it's a file or folder from SAO. Click into each folder to find helpful files. In the Financial Forms and Handbooks, you see the Packages Handbook and the Vendor Book. In the Allocations Board folder, you can find relevant files and cheat sheets for AV planning. In some cases, you will need to upload a completed file as part of filling out other forms. You can also use the Files tool to keep club resources together. Maybe you want to add your weekly eBoard meeting minutes here, or event evaluations from past events. The Forms tool is a really great resource as well. Forms that can be found here include the event cancellation form and the catering exemption form. Think of the difference between forms and files, as a file is something you may need to upload to a request, while a form is actually the request. You can also create forms for your organization. For example, maybe you want to collect information about who can table at the upcoming expo, or collect feedback from your members on a recent event. The News module allows you to keep your portal members up to date on all of your latest news. With a format similar to a blog, members can view a quick summary of the most recent news or scroll down to view the full content of each post, including comments. Polls is a great tool for hosting elections. They can be limited only to the members of your portal, and they are always anonymous. To enhance the poll, you can insert pictures and media content of each candidate. Settings allows you to determine if you want members to answer the poll more than once, or hide the poll results from non-admins. It's important to note for an election that you would have to temporarily suspend admin access to anyone participating in the election, or you can show the results to members before the poll ends. You always need to include at least 2 options. You can also add a start and end time. You'll need to publish the poll and choose who you want to view the poll. The poll will show immediately on your members' community homepage and the organization portal homepage. The poll will show anonymous results. If you'd like to track who voted for what, you'll need to use the forms feature instead. To-dos can help you create online to-do lists to help prepare for upcoming events and activities. Keep your group organized by knowing who is responsible for each task. This is a great way to manage all the things you delegate to your members and keep them accountable. The first thing you will see are the existing to-do lists in your portal. Each to-do list has a progress bar that allows you to quickly gauge progress. Each task will display a due date, assignees, and priority level. Click on a task to make comments or to claim it. Claiming a task will add it to your personal to-do list page in your profile section and provide you the ability to mark the task as complete. eBoard members will have the ability to create new lists. Enter a name for the list, determine its visibility settings, and submit. Next, begin adding tasks. You'll be prompted to enter a title, due date, priority level, and assignees for each task. Users are notified by email when they are assigned to a task. Other administrative tools include the ability to duplicate and reorder to-do lists. This would be a great resource if your group annual events and the responsibilities stay the same. Lastly, let's talk a little bit about changing your organization's officers. This will be required during registration, but for some organizations, you may need to update your officers earlier in the academic year. Your organization is required to have at least a president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary active on OrgSync at all times. As a portal admin, you can submit this information on your portal homepage. Under current positions, see all, you can fill a position or change a position if you have new officers for your organization. This form asks which position you want to fill, which member you want to fill it, and when their term will begin and end. You must include an end term date. If you're filling a position, the new officers must be a member of your portal for them to appear in the drop-down menu. If they join your portal right before you fill the position, they will not appear. You will need to wait 24 hours for them to appear in the system. Once you complete this form and submit new officers, the new leaders of your group are required to complete the anti-hazing agreement and student activities policies form. These forms will be emailed to each new officer. Their position will not be approved until they complete these required forms. Those are the nuts and bolts of navigating OrgSync. Now you should be able to successfully use the tools and features to your group's benefit. Next, we will be showing you the event management process. No matter what road your student group is a member of, the process for requesting space and registering events is the same. All events must be registered and approved by SIO. This confirms you are going to use the space you requested. Also, expenses associated with an event will not be processed until the event has been approved. Before you submit anything on OrgSync, you should have an overall vision of the event. think about a few places where your event would be successful. Also, have a few dates in mind. Your first choice may not always be available, so be prepared to adjust. You can request this space through 25 Live. To register your event, go to the Event tab on OrgSync. On the event page, you will see upcoming and past events that your student organization has hosted. You will see on the right-hand side, there is a green button that says Create an Event. Click that button and then follow the instructions on the form. Fill out the form with all of the information you can. If it's a repeated event, for instance, a weekly meeting, select Weekly under Repeating. In the Participants section, you will report who your event is open to. Attendees can RSVP here, but keep in mind that it is just informational. Any event requiring an RSVP or ticket must have an Eventbrite page. Any event open to the BU community or public will also be put on the BU calendar. Now onto the Event Overview section, which helps SAOs, Activities Consultant, or ACs, and the service providers know what kind of event it is, who is involved with it, and the location. If you need to gather more details and leave the portal, you can click the Save and Finish Later button located at the bottom of the screen. And you'll find the pending form in your profile we mentioned before. In the reservation section, you will be asked to put the event number, which is located on your confirmation email from reservations. If you book through another department, such as FitRec, put down 0000 and upload a screenshot of the confirmation you received from that department. If you booked via the reservations office, you will upload the space reservation confirmation in PDF form. The confirmation you receive from reservations must match the details of the event request form, such as time, location, etc. If the details do not match, it will delay the process. This next section will also ask the logistics of the event, such as what time the event actually starts and what you are planning to do during that event. This information will help the service providers know what is happening at your event to be able to staff and accommodate properly. Keep in mind, the event registration does not confirm support from service providers. You must still request their services through the Treasury. We'll get to that in a few minutes. If you are renting an activity as part of your event, you must use an approved vendor. Also, most rental items, such as mechanical bowls or tents, require a permit. The other reason you would need a permit is if you are having amplified sound during an outside event. Fortunately, you don't need to process the permit. You'll need to contact Crystal Eusebio, Assistant Director in the Student Activities Office, and she will work with you to complete and submit the form. But you must plan in advance. Permits take a minimum of 6 weeks to process. That deadline is not flexible. If you plan to show a film on campus, you must submit a film rights request, which is located under the Forms tab. There are 2 ways you can secure film rights. 1, you can often find the film on Canopy, a film library available through Mugar. If you get the film from Canopy, a film rights request is not required. If you get the film from Canopy, a film rights request is not required. If the film is not from Canopy, the film rights request form is required and must be submitted 4 weeks in advance of the showing. You cannot simply grab the DVD from your personal collection or streaming services such as Hulu or Netflix to show the movie at an event. Catering on the Charles is a required food service provider on campus. You can access the student catering guide directly in the Treasury. If your desired menu is more complex, you may contact Catering on the Charles and discuss your specific food needs for the event. There are several catering free zones, such as the Sargent Activity Center, George Sherman Union basement or 3rd floor, and the basement of the School of Theology. Your provided food must be ordered from an approved outside vendor in any of these spaces. Exceptions to the use of Catering on the Charles anywhere else on campus must be approved by catering. In order to do that, fill out the catering exemption form found under the Forms tab. This must be submitted a minimum of 2 weeks in advance of your event. 3 weeks, excuse me. Now we will go to the event specifics to help our staff understand what is included in your event and whether you need additional support. If you are having a speaker and paying them, you will need to follow the contract process. Performance contracts are for outside vendors such as DJs, photographers, or speakers. Contracts typically take 6 weeks to process and also require a W-9 form. Remember, students should never sign a contract. If your speaker is coming for free, you can send them a letter of agreement. The text for this appears on its own page. This is a way you can put in writing what the speaker has agreed to. While not required, we highly recommend it. If you are having a raffle or accepting donations, you must fill out a raffle and charitable donation form. You can find this under forms as well. If you are including a bar, there are a few extra requirements. 1, it must be a bar provided by a licensed vendor. On campus, this would be catering on the Charles. 2, you must provide food and we will ask for documentation. 3, if you are an undergraduate student group, you are required to have a chaperone present at this event. Student Activities has an agreement with Eventbrite, which allows you to sell tickets at a significant discount. Instead of $2 per ticket, our student groups only pay 50 cents. You will complete an Eventbrite request form and the Student Activities Business Office, known as SABO, will set up the Eventbrite page for you. If you are simply collecting RSVPs for a free event, there is no charge to use Eventbrite, but you must still have SABO set up the page. And lastly, if you are expecting sponsorship for your event, you will need to connect with SIO to ensure the sponsorship doesn't conflict with any university agreements. For example, Coca-Cola cannot sponsor your event because we are a Pepsi-sponsored campus. At the end of the form, we have provided a list of deadlines that are important to follow in order to ensure the services that you need for your event can be provided. Planning in advance is key. As a reminder, here is a list of deadlines for your events. The very last step is to let us know who your president is. Your president will get an email from OrgSync asking them to review and approve this event. The staff at SAO will not review your event until after the president has approved it. As we said earlier, you must register all events in order to get services or to get reimbursed. If you do not register your event, you cannot get reimbursed. Only registered and approved events are eligible for reimbursement and services. Once you've submitted the event request form, you can go back and check on the status of your event. You will see event request detail in an orange box. Click on that to see your event details that you just submitted. In the Conversation tab, an AC will let you know what else you may need for your event. It is important to pay attention to the notifications and the comments that the ACs leave in the Conversation tab. The Conversation tab is a two-way communication tool. The ACs can communicate with you, and you can communicate with the ACs. In order to check the status of your event request, look on the right side of the event submission. You can also see whether or not the president has approved the event, or if anything is still pending. If you are the president, only you can view the approved or deny options, located on the right side of your screen. If you need to cancel an event for any reason, you must submit an event cancellation form. The event cancellation form is under the Forms tab. It is your responsibility to submit that form and to contact the service providers and let them know your event is canceled to avoid being charged. If your event is not canceled with enough notice, you may still be financially responsible for expenses. Now to the Treasury portion of this training. This is how you request services from our campus service providers and make payments to outside vendors. Service requests are how you communicate with our campus partners. In order to do this, you must submit a withdrawal request, which means you must know what you need for the event. Submitting a withdrawal request is considered a service request. Our campus partners will receive the request, review them, and get in touch with your student group if there are any questions. To find that form, go to the More tab at the top of the screen, and there you will find Treasury. Click on it, and you will see two options: Manage Budget and Manage Revenue Funds. The difference between the budget and the revenue funds is that the revenue funds are your student group's fund. The budget feature is where an allocations board request is submitted. This is applicable for Beacon and Commonwealth groups. If you received any AB funding, please use the budget side to make your requests. Let's take a look at some basics on the revenue side. Click Manage Revenue Funds. From there, you will see your balance. If the number is in red parentheses, it means you have spent more money than available in your group's account. This means you have a negative balance. On this page, you also see all of your requests. On the right-hand side, scroll down and click on the button that says See All Requests for a more in-depth list. This is also where you can see the status of your requests. On the dashboard, you can see your activity, whether you have any unsubmitted forms or approved forms, and pending approval. Your status will either say approved or denied. However, if more information is needed, the form will be sent back to you, and your status will be marked as partial. Now let's go back and walk through how to submit a payment request. At the top of the page, you can see the Create Withdrawal button. Click on it. Who has access to submit a request depends on the permissions you have set up in your group's portal. Once you click on that button, the withdrawal title box will pop up. The title must include the name of the event, the date, and the type of service. For example, or a Halloween event, October 27th, FMP. This means you are hosting a Halloween event on October 27th, and you are requesting facility services. Under the payment type drop-down menu, you have to select the type of vendor, then select the specific vendor you'd like to pay. The questions on the form will change depending on which payment type you choose. For example, if you pick GSU package room setup, you will be asked for the date of the event, the time it starts, and the time it ends, as well as which package handbook you have picked. On the withdrawal details section of the form, you have to type in the title again, and it should be the same as your withdrawal title. Below that, there is a drop-down menu, and you select what matches the type of event you are having. There is another drop-down menu that says line item, then pick the description that fits your event. For the event, it is usually called event expense. The other options include operational expense or donation. Type in a description if needed. Feel free to add comments on the summary section. You can clarify the date, time, and if it is a recurring event, please include that information. You must contact the service to get the price quote prior to filling this out. For example, if your student organization is on Bay State Road, your facilities setup options are limited to as-is setups only. Also, Bay State groups can only access basic SPS setups. Under the Upload Documents section, what you upload depends on what you are paying for with the withdrawal request. If you are paying for a service such as facilities, you will upload a floor plan. If you selected a package diagram, the floor plan is not as important. If you are submitting for a custom setup, you must upload a diagram and confirmation from facilities for the cost. If you were paying for an outside vendor, then you would upload a quote. You must provide documentation of why you are withdrawing money out of your account, and the request must match the itemized list. In the additional comments section, feel free to add any additional details that you deem important for the business office. Once you have completed this form, press Submit on the bottom of your screen. All Treasury requests have to be approved by your treasurer. Two important terms to be familiar with is the Internal Service Request, or ISR, and Facilities Service Request, or FSR, which is used for internal BU vendors. After you submit the request in the Treasury, SABO generates the ISR. Each approved service is assigned an ISR number. For example, facilities or student production services. Just like your events section, the business office will also make comments if any additional information is needed. Let's briefly review deposits. If your student organization has earned money from Eventbrite, then SABO will create the deposit for you. It takes about 2 weeks after your event to receive these funds. If you have a cash deposit, go to the business office to deposit into your account. If you have a deposit in the form of a check, it should be made out to the trustees of Boston University. Your student group should be noted in the memo line. Again, bring these to SABO for deposit. With both the withdrawal and deposit forms, there is a comment section. This is where you can follow up on the status of your request. As I mentioned before, the comment section is vital as it is how you communicate with SAO and how we communicate with you. For more information on treasuries, please see the Treasurer Training. The Student Activities Business Office, known as SABO, their role is to review your deposits and withdrawals and make sure everything is paid for appropriately. Make sure the documentation you upload matches the request you are making. If information is missing or not accurate, it can slow down the process. If any issues arise, SABO will contact you through the comments section. The Treasury is also how you will request and pay for name tags, posters, flyers, and t-shirts. Anytime you want to purchase something, you must reference the vendor handbook, which is available in the files section. These approved vendors have agreements with BU. If you want to use a vendor that is not on the approved list, you must speak with SABO, but we cannot guarantee your request will be approved. You can come visit SABO in the Student Activities Office or email them at sabo@bu.edu. Overall, it is important to plan in advance in order to secure services, space, food, and performers for your event. The earlier you start this process, the smoother things will go for your event. And as always, come visit us in the resource room. We are here to help you navigate everything related to event management to ensure the success of your event.
All right, that concludes our training and we are all set. Thank you so much for joining us.